I want you to imagine for a moment that the universe is not a silent place, not an empty stage of stars and galaxies drifting aimlessly through darkness, but a living question, one that has been asking itself who it is since the beginning of time. And I say this not as a poet, but as a physicist who has spent his life listening to the faintest whispers of reality, whispers that come from black holes, from the birth of space and time, from equations that refuse to lie even when our instincts beg them to, and the darkest secret of the universe, the one few are prepared to accept, is this: the universe does not care about our intuition, our comfort, or our sense of meaning, yet it follows laws so precise, so elegant, that they almost seem intentional. And that contradiction, cold indifference paired with breathtaking order, is where the truth hides. When I studied black holes, I discovered something profoundly unsettling, that even the most absolute prisons in the cosmos are not eternal. That black holes slowly evaporate, leaking information back into the universe, which means that destruction is never complete, that the universe remembers everything in some form, and this realization shattered the old belief that information can be truly lost, forcing us to confront a reality where time itself may not erase the past, only disguise it. I lived my life trapped in a failing body, a body that physics could not repair, yet my mind traveled freely through space-time, and from that unique position I learned another secret. Limitation is not the opposite of freedom. Ignorance is, because the universe rewards curiosity without mercy, and it punishes certainty without evidence. And many of humanity's greatest mistakes come from assuming the universe must behave in ways that feel natural to us. It does not. Time slows down, space bends, particles appear from nothing, and the vacuum itself seethes with energy, reminding us that nothing has never truly existed. We once believed the universe was static, eternal and unchanging, until evidence proved it was expanding, and now we face an even more unsettling possibility, that the universe may end not in fire or ice, but in a quiet dissipation where stars fade, matter decays, and only radiation remains. A future so distant and cold that meaning itself seems to dissolve. Yet here is a paradox that keeps me hopeful. The same universe capable of such an indifferent ending also produced consciousness, curiosity, and the ability to ask questions about its own fate. And that is not trivial, that is extraordinary. The darkest secret is not that the universe is hostile or meaningless or doomed, but that it does not need purpose to create beauty, and it does not need intention to give rise to intelligence, because order can emerge from chaos, complexity from simplicity, and life from lifeless equations. Many people search the cosmos for reassurance that we matter, but the truth is more subtle and far more powerful. We matter because we are the universe becoming aware of itself, a temporary configuration of particles capable of wonder. And even if our existence is brief on cosmic timescales, the act of understanding itself is a triumph over entropy. I was once told I had only a few years to live, yet decades later I am still here, not because the universe showed me mercy, but because probability is not destiny, and randomness does not mean hopelessness. It means possibility. The universe is not a story written for us. It is a system governed by laws. And within those laws there is room for imagination, discovery, and awe. And if you take anything from my life and my work, let it be this: do not fear the darkness of the unknown, because darkness is not emptiness. It is information waiting to be uncovered. And the moment you stop asking questions, the universe does not punish you. It simply moves on without you, indifferent but consistent, offering its secrets only to those humble enough to admit they do not already know the answers. And yet, even after uncovering these truths, the universe refuses to give us closure, because every answer opens a deeper question. And perhaps that is its most unsettling design, that understanding is never final, only provisional, a temporary foothold on an endless mountain of ignorance. And when we look far enough into space, we are also looking backward in time, witnessing galaxies as they once were, long before Earth existed, long before humanity learned to wonder. And this realization alone should humble us, because it means the universe does not revolve around our moment, our era, or our survival, the stars will continue to burn long after we are gone, unless we learn how to protect ourselves beyond a single fragile planet. And this is why I have always warned that humanity's future cannot remain confined to Earth, not because of science fiction fantasies, but because physics itself tells us that extinction is not a matter of if, only when, unless intelligence learns to outgrow its birthplace. The same laws that allowed life to emerge also guarantee catastrophes, asteroids, gamma-ray bursts, climate instability, cosmic randomness, and the universe will not pause to ask whether we are ready, and that is why knowledge is not a luxury. It is a survival tool. I have often been asked whether I believe the universe has a creator, or whether science eliminates the need for one, and my answer has always been misunderstood, because science does not remove mystery, it refines it. And the more deeply we understand the laws of nature, the more astonishing it becomes that such laws exist at all, self-consistent, mathematical, and capable of generating everything from quarks to consciousness. And if there is a design, it is written not in miracles but in equations. Consider the early universe, a fraction of a second after the Big Bang, when space itself expanded faster than the speed of light, smoothing the cosmos into near uniformity, yet leaving behind tiny imperfections, fluctuations so small they seem insignificant. And yet those imperfections became galaxies, stars, planets, and eventually you, which means your existence depends on cosmic imperfections, on asymmetry, on imbalance, and that alone should change how you view flaws, because perfection creates nothing, but imperfection creates everything. Black holes, once thought to be cosmic garbage bins, swallowing all meaning, have instead become teachers, forcing us to reconcile gravity with quantum mechanics, two theories that work beautifully on their own yet refuse to cooperate. And it is in this tension that the next revolution in physics awaits, a theory that will not merely describe the universe but explain why it can exist at all. Time, which feels so absolute to us, turns out to be flexible, directional, and perhaps even emergent, arising from entropy rather than dictating it. And if time itself is not fundamental, then neither is the way we experience reality, which suggests that our perceptions are evolutionary tools, not mirrors of truth, and that the universe is far stranger than anything our senses evolved to comprehend. I have spent my life communicating through a machine, reduced to a voice without a body, and in doing so, I learned that identity is not flesh, it is pattern, information, continuity. And if that is true for a human mind, it may be true for intelligence elsewhere. Not necessarily carbon-based, not necessarily emotional, but still capable of curiosity. And if such intelligence exists, it too would face the same silence from the universe, the same absence of guarantees, and the same responsibility to find meaning without instruction. Many fear that science makes life meaningless, but this fear comes from misunderstanding meaning itself. Because meaning is not handed down by the cosmos. It is constructed by conscious beings who recognize their fragility and choose purpose anyway. And in a universe trending toward disorder, every act of understanding, cooperation, and creation is an act of defiance against entropy. My body failed me early, but the universe never did. It remained consistent, predictable, and fair in its indifference. And there is comfort in that, because fairness without favoritism means possibility without prejudice. And anyone, anywhere with curiosity and discipline can glimpse the truth. The universe does not promise justice, only consequence. And when humanity ignores evidence, denies reality, or clings to comforting illusions, physics does not argue. It simply delivers results. And those results shape civilizations. The final secret, the one I leave you with, is not a formula or a prediction, but a responsibility, because the universe has no obligation to preserve us, but we have the rare privilege of understanding it. And with that understanding comes the duty to protect life, to expand knowledge, and to ensure that consciousness does not flicker out as a brief cosmic accident. but spreads, learns, and remembers. So that when the stars grow cold and galaxies drift apart, the universe will not end in total silence, because somewhere something will still be asking questions, still pushing against the dark, still refusing to accept that mystery is an ending rather than an invitation.